Hi everyone, Skyward Warrior here. I'd like to talk about everything that's happening with YouTube, and how it may or may not affect my channel, your access to it, what these YouTube changes mean on a larger scale, and what I plan on doing once these new systems are put in place. Before I get into the topic of this video, I just wanted to take the time to say welcome to my new subscribers, and thank you all so much for the support on my Deltarune Chapter 3 animations. It's really been a blast over the last few weeks, and I'm so glad that so many of you are enjoying them. I'll start by describing the upcoming situation with YouTube's new horrible AI system and policies, so if you're already up to date with what's going on, you can skip this part and jump to the timestamp on screen, where I talk about how this might affect my channel and what my plans are. This is a rundown on what YouTube's plans are and what users' concerns are about what will happen. There's a chance I'm missing information or have misunderstood certain aspects of the upcoming policy changes, since this situation is rapidly evolving, so if I'm missing anything, please let me know. I'd also like to hear how you are all feeling about this and how you think it will affect your channels and ability to view and interact with the larger content that you enjoy. I've watched several videos about this and I feel PhoenixSC's video was quite comprehensive, so I'll include a link to it in the description so you can hear his thoughts and see what people were commenting over there. For those who are out of the loop, YouTube, amongst other online companies, is now going to be impacted by the 2024 Online Safety Act that is going into effect in Australia, the UK, the United States, and the larger EU in the future. Several governments have decided that in order to protect children on the internet, they want to levy restrictions on how online services are run and accessed based on users' ages. To follow these new laws, YouTube wants to expand on yet another AI system, one they've actually already been quietly using on the YouTube Kids app, to infer users' ages based on the content they watch in their watch history, along with the longevity, aka the age, of their YouTube channels, as well as your YouTube search history, and will from now on ignore the age you input when you first made your account. This system is supposedly going to be put in place by August 13th, so we don't have much advanced warning to react. There are several glaring issues with this new age-based system on YouTube. An AI will be determining what kinds of content are considered for kids, for teens, and for adults, which will heavily restrict all sorts of topics, likely including those around anything animation, which will be skewed to kids' content, and anything with more complex ideas or themes, which would be skewed to mature content. This means that kids won't have access to all sorts of complex topics that would actually help with development, which is more like wrapping kids in bubble wrap instead of actually teaching them online safety. That is, if the AI, which YouTube already has a horrible reputation for, even properly sorts the content for what's considered appropriate. This also means there's a possibility that a ton of content now being recognized as for kids may be COPA'd, losing the comment section, playlist saving, and whatnot. It also means that artists and animators, especially indie animation as a whole, will suffer greatly, as if or when their content is labeled as for kids, it may get restricted and not nearly as recommended to general audiences of all ages, on top of losing comment section privileges. Additionally, a wide net of users will get incorrectly identified as children based on what they watch, be it Mario, Minecraft, Pokemon, probably Deltarune, toy reviews, animations, and more. It doesn't help that YouTube's community guidelines from the last several years required content creators to cut down on mature content in their videos, meaning that coupled with that rule, it will look like everyone only watches mostly kid-friendly content, so based on their system, everyone will be misidentified and seen as a child. The major issue comes into play with users of all ages being identified as children. YouTube states in their article about the new system that if an adult user is incorrectly labeled as a child, the only way of disputing the restrictions is to directly give Google a photo of your face, your driver's license or other government-issued ID, or your credit card. If users are labeled as kids en masse, that means Google could demand this extremely sensitive information from millions of people at once. For good reasons, a lot of people, including myself, are very unhappy with this idea. This isn't only happening on YouTube. Spotify is doing the same thing right now, and most major online sites will be subject to this new law. Not only does this strip online communities of their anonymity, it also enables these corporations to commit widespread data collection, create rampant risk for identity theft with data breaches, and it also sets a precedent for governments to control how the internet is run and perform surveillance on all its citizens by monitoring people's searches and tying this internet activity back to every person. Again, I could be missing information about this, so I'd appreciate discussing it in the comments. A lot of details are murky as to how channels being labeled as kids and how many videos will be identified as child content will affect specific parts of YouTube. For one, how does this affect your subscription feed? What if you're mislabeled as a child? Are you now restricted from viewing the channels posting adult content that you're already subscribed to? Will your video uploading privileges on your own channel be taken away? If you're recognized as an adult, but the content you watch is labeled as child content, will you get less recommendations for the videos you enjoy? Okay, so that's what YouTube will be doing with the platform very shortly. Here are my concerns about how my channel will be affected and what my plans are moving forward. I'll start by saying I've never run into a single issue throughout the 12 years of my channel, and even with what's going on, I don't plan to leave YouTube. Even with all the awful changes over the years, I've never stopped enjoying this place, and I think it would be tragic if I had to pack up and go. I've already had to move all the rest of my art to my Ko-fi and destroy almost my entire DeviantArt gallery after 10 years there because of their AI, so I'm very tired of trying to run away. YouTube has a habit of considering most animated content as for kids, and I've always tried keeping my videos as family-friendly as possible because I want anyone to be able to enjoy them. Over 65% of my entire audience is in the age ranges of 18 to 24 and 25 to 30, so my fear is that my audience won't be shown or recommended my animations and other videos, or that my videos will be COPA'd, or both. I haven't encountered issues with my content getting restricted before, since I've always been able to comply with the COPA rules by labeling it as not for younger audiences, but also not mature content when I upload. I held a poll in my most recent community post where I asked all of you what other social media sites you guys prefer using, and as of writing this script, it seems Tumblr is the uncontested most popular choice. So, to pivot in case my videos are labeled as child content and become restricted, I will continue posting here on YouTube, but I will also be starting a Tumblr page where I will post alongside my video uploads here, so that audiences who are restricted from seeing or interacting with my videos can do so over there. To be honest, I haven't started one yet because I burn out easily when managing multiple social media on top of working on a lot of projects at once, which really stinks because now it seems like I was putting a lot of my eggs in the YouTube basket for a while. I hate the idea of my continued use of their site being seen as condoning the company for their actions, or somehow financially supporting them, despite my channel not being monetized. I do not support any of this at all, and I honestly don't know who would. But considering they've pulled the rug out from under all of their users, and I've been looking for viable alternatives for years at this rate, I'm not really sure what choices I have right now. I'd love to just stick my head in the sand and wait this out to see if it'll all blow over like some of the past community guideline changes, but seeing how swiftly it's being implemented and how widespread it is, I get the feeling this new system will stick around for a very long time. If my account is misidentified as a child account, I refuse to give my most personal information to YouTube. So in the worst case scenario that I lose the privilege of uploading videos on this channel, I will post fully on the Tumblr account. Either way, I will make a Tumblr, so in the end, I shouldn't lose the ability to post, and you all should still be able to see my projects and interact. By the time August 13th rolls around, I'll see either way how the changes will impact my channel or its content. I will set up the Tumblr account that week as soon as possible, and will add the link to my channel bio alongside my other socials. I would have put up a community post or video with the link in case people miss it, but I've heard content creators and general users have been proposing a YouTube blackout, so there's a chance I may try to participate. I don't know how long it's supposed to go on for, though. I haven't figured out yet how many of my older videos I want to migrate to that Tumblr page, but I guess most people trying to protect themselves from YouTube's decisions will have to learn as they go. If I can't interact with you here, I hope to see you there.